welcome to Living Arts. I'm your host, Jackie Suarez. I want to thank you for tuning in today. We are going to be speaking with the Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival people, so to speak, and I'm very pleased to welcome Davis McCallum to the show. Davis, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having us, Jackie.
No, it was a great idea on behalf of one of my friends. You have Belle Ritter is going to be doing some choreography for you, and she was like, you should totally have these guys on the show. They're amazing, and I thought that would be just wonderful to kind of do the whole kickoff for summer, although we're kind of already into summer.
Exactly.
So you are the artistic director.
I am.
Okay, so why don't you give our audience a little background on the festival and how it all got started and some programs and things that you have going on there.
Sure. I'm grateful to Belle for connecting us to you. She came to see Robin Hood with her daughter last week, and my three friends and colleagues here in the Robin Hood company, Colleen and Tora and Trace, and I hope we'll get to talk to them more soon. Our festival is 32 years old. For the last 31 years, we've been performing on the grounds of Boscobel House and Gardens in Garrison, New York. And we do plays in a very unique way because we perform them under a tent overlooking the Hudson River, an open-air tent that was designed specifically for this spot. And upstage where the actors are playing is the most magnificent Hudson River view you could ever imagine. And audiences come hours before the play, sometimes in large groups, and have a picnic before the play with their friends. And then right before the play, the house staff rings a bell and everybody migrates into the tent to see a show. So in contrast to going to, say, a Broadway show where you get out of the subway and you fight the crowds and get marshaled into a tiny little seat and sit in the dark for 2 hours, although I love a Broadway show, this is a much more communal experience, and the act of going to a play starts when you enter the grounds and ends when you head home. Last year, 36,000 people came over the summer to see not just one play, but 5 different plays in rotating repertory, which means that our company of actors, some of whom have been on our stages for 20 years, I think, in a couple of cases, are performing in multiple plays. So these guys are doing Robin Hood tomorrow, Friday night, and then on Saturday night they're doing Richard II, and then on Sunday night a different company of actors who are also doing Richard II but not doing Robin Hood are doing The Taming of the Shrew, and we just rotate those plays all through the summer. And this year we're doing 5 plays.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's quite an undertaking. It's a major operation, and we're really excited to share it with more people every summer.
So you're directing Richard II.
I am.
Okay, so when you first came on board with the festival, you were hired as the artistic director.
That's right.
But you had tell us a little bit about your background.
I've been directing plays for 20 years, and I mostly in New York, but also around the country. I followed the founding artistic director, Terry O'Brien, who ran the company for 27 years, and he stepped down in 2014, and I was hired after there was a search for a new artistic director. And so this is my 4th, almost 5th season. And my job is principally to program the season and then hire the artists who are going to make it happen and raise the money to support the work. And then I assign myself one of the plays to direct, and then get to pick 4 other directors to lead the other plays. And that's also kind of a joy in itself, to invite other people into your artistic home. And because the space, this tent that I mentioned before, is so unique, every theater maker that comes immediately has 4 or 5 different ideas of plays that they would love to do there.
Yeah, in that space, it'd be awesome.
It's incredible. It's part circus tent, part church, and it's a very unique place to put on a play. In part because there's a real interaction between the actors and the audience. So the actors who've been there for a long time know how to get that kind of two-way energy going. There's lots of improvisation and playfulness and clowning, and there's some really excellent ensemble acting too, which these guys can talk more about.
No, absolutely. I just wanted to just get into briefly, what's your fundraising situation like over there for any, person out there that would like to contribute some money to the festival?
Oh, please, it takes a lot of money to run a nonprofit theater, and even though we have 36,000 paying customers that come every year, that covers not even half of the total cost of running the theater. So the rest of that is money that we raise, and our budget's more than $3 million, so that means we raise $1.5 million every year. And that's a significant lift, but we also think that our mission is to engage the widest possible audience in a conversation about the essence of Shakespeare's plays. And our work has always been about connecting those plays to the current moment. And we believe that Shakespeare belongs to everyone. And I think some people have this kind of, we like to call it Shakespeare, where you're like, I don't know if that's for me. But when you come to the tent and you've sat down with friends and had a picnic or a glass of wine, the experience of watching a Shakespeare play doesn't seem alien or forbidding. It seems very natural in that space, and I can't quite explain why, other than...
Well, I mean, it's accessible. Most people have read, numerous Shakespeare plays.
Sure.
So it's not something that's so, off-putting.
No, but I have to say, though, Richard II, the play that I'm directing this year, it's a tricky one. It's not one that's well known. It's all in blank verse, and it's about a medieval king who lived in the 1400s. But it's also about what it means to be alive, and there's real universal themes in it that I think everybody can kind of connect to. So our job, when we're in the rehearsal room, is to think like, how do we find ourselves in these plays? And we feel like if we do that really honestly and passionately and with as much imagination as we can muster, then audiences will do the same thing when they come to see it.
Well, and also you were saying like kind of just, make it a bit contemporary for yourself.
Yeah.
Or draw some parallels to our life now.
That's true.
And just I think having that whole the rotation of the productions is really brilliant because, you give people an opportunity. Maybe they don't want to see something just for, 6 weeks or whatever, so you can, change it up a bit.
Everyone's lives are so busy, and like, when does this play open and when does it close? And we can say, it opened on June the 7th and it's running all the way through Labor Day. So any night you have free, we're there.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 7 days a week.
Oh, okay.
At
Why was I
7:30.
thinking that it was just on the weekends? That's awesome.
No,
That's totally
any day.
awesome. So why don't we have these guys describe some of the productions that are happening?
Great. I should say these three are part of the Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival Conservatory Company, which is designed as a bridge for 7 really extraordinary young actors, and they were cast out of hundreds of people who sent their headshots and resumes and auditioned in the springtime. And they're incredible talents. They're multi-instrumentalists. I think as part of this broadcast, you're going to hear them sing a couple songs from Robin Hood written by our composer, Andrew Butler.
Yes, an excellent, excellent performance.
They're fighting with huge broadswords in Robin Hood, and they're acting in 2 different plays, and then creating from scratch a 3rd play. So I'll let them introduce themselves, but we're very lucky to have them under our tent.
Okay, why don't we start with Colleen?
Yeah, I'm Colleen Litchfield, and as Davis said, I'm a member of the Conservatory Company. One of the plays we're doing, Richard II, is one of 2 Shakespeare plays in this season. There's this and there's Taming of the Shrew. This is one of Shakespeare's history plays, so it's kind of a political thriller. It's also very timely. It is about 2 people. One is the king, and as he kind of loses his kingship, he finds himself. And the other finds kingship, but in that process kind of loses his sense of self. So they have kind of contradicting or complementary journeys. And in this production, the role of King Richard is played by an incredible actress, Julia Coffey, which is very exciting in 2018 to see. And
that was kind of common, though, I guess, when, during the original plays, that you'd have a female playing a male character? Or was that vice versa?
At the time,
I think it's vice versa, right? You'd have boys playing the women, like
Yeah.
only men allowed on stage.
Oh, right.
So,
of course.
but still, there is a kind of gender fluidity in a lot of the plays
Yeah.
for that reason, which we're taking advantage of in this production for
Yeah.
sure.
So how many different roles did you take on?
Me?
Yeah.
You were mentioning a wonderful list earlier.
Probably about 7, I think. I'm a page, one of the lords, Lord Barclay, a gardening assistant, the stable groom, sort of one of Bolingbroke's army people, he's the character who's challenging the throne. So we all kind of take on a hefty number of roles in that show, which is exciting.
How challenging is that to have, all these various productions going on and to me to remember like all of your lines from
Yeah.
each one?
It's not as challenging as I thought to remember the lines. I was initially afraid that I'd go on stage in Robin Hood and start saying Shakespearean text. It's actually kind of refreshing because you never get stuck in sort of doing the plays rote over and over again all summer because it
stays fresh.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
changing shows every night, so it's
It's thrilling.
fresh and thrilling and keeps you on your toes.
And how did you come to be a part of the company? What's your background?
Yeah, I graduated from college a year ago from drama school, and I have been very interested in the Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival for a while. There are a lot of New York artists who worked with this company who are really inspiring, and I've seen a couple of the shows. Actually, sometimes shows from the festival will come back to the city, so I've seen some of those productions. And then I auditioned, and yeah.
God lucky, right? Great way to spend the summer. It's a great way to spend the summer. So, congratulations on that. So, Tora, why don't you tell us about how you came to be a part of the company and what production you'd like to talk about?
Yes. So a little bit of background for me is that I also graduated a year ago. I went to Fordham University, and a few of my friends have done the program in the past, and they only talk like highly about the program. And being sort of new to the business, I needed some sort of bridge to get where I wanted to go, and I also really wanted to be in nature and do theater in the outdoors and get away from the city for a while. So I'm extremely thankful that this fell into my lap and it took off, which is great. And the program itself, they really treat us as young actors with a lot of respect, and I'm very thankful for that, and that's how that summer's been going so far. But in regards to that too, so I'll talk a little bit about Robin Hood, and what's really fun for us as the Conservatory Company, there's 4 more of us, we get to really be a part of Robin Hood. It's the Robin Hood folktale, but it's a little bit flipped on its head. We have in the folktale we have Robin Hood and we have Maid Marian. However, she comes into the story, but in this particular telling of the story, we really get to see Marian's side of the story, which is really nice to sort of share the stage with a really sort of famous male figure, but also bring in a very strong female character. And along with that, there were a lot of nice supporting roles for the young acting company. So we get to play our instruments, we get to show off a little bit with our music abilities.
Yeah, no, that's totally awesome that you guys each played, various instruments. And is that a kind of a requirement to be a part of the company?
Well, this year, because we knew we were doing Robin Hood, and we knew it was almost like a musical. It's like a real summertime romp. It has sword fighting, music, dancing, puppetry. And so we knew in the 7 members of the Conservatory Company, we needed some incredible, multi-talented individuals who could do a lot of different things.
There's a color in the sky from the tears that the stars cry. Do you know why the stars cry? Is it lonesome way up there? It seems crowded in the air. But then what knows I about the sky? All I know is you. But do I know you? All I want is you. But do I want you? There's a wall of weathered stone that your heart has made its home. What's on the other side? Is that where you hide? If we took those stones apart, could we rebuild in your heart? If we had a home, maybe we wouldn't feel so alone. All I know is you. But do I know you? All I want is you. But do I want you? Is there a place where we can go? Can I tell you what you don't know? Who I am, Lord, I wish I had a plan, but all I have is you. But do I have you? All I want is you. But do I want you? I do.
So these guys all had fight skills on their resume, and we knew we needed people who could play live music, and we knew we needed people that were able to carry, some pretty complicated, 400-year-old text in Richard II too. So it was a kind of combination of those factors.
That's awesome. So what was your major at Fordham?
I was in the theater major.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure you're not economics.
No, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know.
You've got a role basically in all the productions that are happening.
Sorry?
You have a small role in all the productions that are happening.
In 2 of them, and then we get to do our own production coming up soon.
Okay, and which is that?
That is the Sea Maids music.
I'll take that one.
Monsieur Trace.
I'm Trace Pope. The 7 Conservatory Company members, for our 3rd production of the season, we devise a clown show which is called the Sea Maids Music. And we are just this week, starting to meet with our director and play around and start to figure out what that play is going to be. As of right now, it's a blank page.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a complete blank page. There's no script. There's no story as of yet. We have ideas. Our amazing director, Zach Fine, has ideas that we're kind of meeting in the middle and seeing what we can do with all of the unique talents that the 7 of us bring and the backgrounds that we bring to the table, where we can go from that, from there, and see what we can create to tell a story, and that will hopefully entertain audiences. Kind of one of the main tools that we're using to create this play is the spirit of the clown, and it's hopefully going to be somewhat of a clown show, which is really exciting because I think the spirit of the clown allows us to go as far as possible with emotions and with actions and with playing different crazy characters and not holding back anything. So really, for a project that is kind of a blank page, it's really exciting to be able to use clown work to explore what we want to make and what we want to show to an audience.
Yeah, just to kind of be on the ground floor of creating something like that. It must be creatively just a wonderful outlet for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a dream, for actors,
So are you kind of local? I'm sorry, are you kind of local to the area, or?
I am not local to the area. I'm originally from Texas, and I moved to the city about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And then, no, but now that I'm working here, I'm local.
The beautiful Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you guys have so much happening there, and it's such a great environment. It's something that's, if you haven't checked it out, you would want to go check it out and bring your family, and
Absolutely.
It's great for all ages.
For sure.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about some programs that you might have with the community?
Well, we're doing our biggest show in our 32-year history at the end, and that's the one that Belle Ritter is choreographing. It's an original world premiere adaptation of Rip Van Winkle by Washington Irving. And this adaptation is by a playwright who lives in Minneapolis named Seth Boakley. And, that's a real Hudson Valley story just on the other side of the river in the Catskills. And we're doing it by combining members of our professional acting company with citizen actors drawn from all over the mid-Hudson Valley, and not just one or two, but 44 citizen actors.
Wow.
So that's a huge cast.
Yes.
And together they're going to create this huge piece of site-specific spectacle theater that tells the story of Rip Van Winkle, but does it in a way that kind of speaks to our world today. The theme of the play is really about time passing and about coming home. And those two themes just resonate, I think, in one way or another in everybody's life. And Seth has written a really poetic, funny, ironic, heartfelt, surprising treatment of a story that we kind of know only in so much as we know that it's about an old guy who falls asleep for a really long time.
Right.
But
so when is that going to be running?
It's going to be running just over Labor Day weekend. 4 performances, and they're all going to be presented entirely free. 3 of them are going to be at our home
Awesome.
theater at the tent at Boscobel in Garrison, and the 4th is going to be at University Settlement Camp in Beacon. And our citizen actors are drawn from all over the region, including many from Peekskill, where we're shooting this today.
So you can see, some local talent or somebody that you may know up on stage.
And also people, we have a number of people in the cast who never thought they would ever be in a play and have never done so before. They're taking this huge risk, stepping out of their comfort zone to join with their neighbors, many of whom they've never met before, in making this huge piece of public, highly participatory art. And I think that's an act of amazing courage.
No, absolutely. And we have run out of time, but I wanted you to go ahead and let our audience know, how they can get more information about the festival.
Our website is hvshakespeare.org. We're performing 7 nights a week at 7:30 at Boscobel House and Gardens. Every night is a different play, so whenever you have a free night, come and check us out. We'd be delighted to welcome you there.
That's awesome, and you can get these tickets also through the website.
Oh yes, so tickets are sold on the website. You can also call our box office, and our numbers on our website too.
And probably pick them up when you get there as well.
Yeah, you can pay for them online, and then you just pick them up at the will call when you arrive. And if you're driving, there's plenty of parking there. If you're taking public transportation, there's a shuttle that can take you from the Cold Spring train station to the tent. If you're coming from New York City, we even have a bus that'll take you from Lincoln Center on the Upper West Side straight to our tent and back to the city. So it's easy to get to.
That's awesome. I want to thank you all for coming here tonight, for performing, sharing this information with our audience. I hope that it gets a couple more people over there, though I'm sure you're not hurting for attendance,
We'd love it.
But maybe just reach someone that hadn't, been to see the show or, through the years, get a new fan going.
That sounds good.
So thank you all very much for coming to the show. Good luck to you, and we're going to see you over there at the festival, later on this summer.
Please come visit us. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We're going to have the whole crew over there.
I love that.
I'll be, with a huge blanket over there and, some goodies and stuff. So please come over and visit. And to the Living Arts audience, I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a great performance, or great performances, that these guys put on over there at Boscobel. So definitely check it out. Support them in any way that you can. Visit us on our YouTube channel. You can see previous shows, and check out Facebook. And I try to put something on there about what's happening in our community. So thank you. Have a good night. Take care.
And when the swift you come again, from winter in the south, when the bluebells start to spring, inside of it rolls tell you